Hello everyone, it's Kay, and I have a little, I'm going to call it a little mini wallet album to share with you, and I'm going to show how I make this. I've had a lot of requests to do a tutorial on this. I made a whole bunch of these for a swap, and a lot of people wanted to make them for another swap or to make them for workshops or stocking stuffers. So you could use any paper, type of paper collection, because all you're doing is putting the journaling cards in a couple places in there and then decorative paper. So it takes two pieces of cardstock. Well, it only takes one piece of cardstock, but it takes 13 pieces of 3x4 pieces of paper. So I made this to fit journaling cards and just kept it really simple. I saw another gal, she took this and really made the cover really cute, but I was traveling with a whole bunch of these and I didn't have room to put dimensional stuff on the top. But you certainly could do that. You certainly could decorate the top part of this little wallet album. So it is held with the magnet closure, and so you open it up this way and then you open it up this way. And I figured you really aren't going to be putting pictures on this part where the magnets are, so I put another journaling card here. And on a couple of, on this particular paper, because it was so white on white, I did put a little bit of pink underneath this, but typically I never did that with any of the other albums I made. And I did use black on most of them. This was, I think this was one of two that were white, using white cardstock. And then I put a piece of 3x4 paper here and then folded this little pocket over and glued it here. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then I did put another journaling card here, which typically I wouldn't do for an album like this because it's just a little wallet album to show your pictures. But I thought, oh, this would be cute to write a date or the event and the date. And then you have room for, 3 pictures here and 3 pictures here. And the pictures don't have to be 3x4 because the paper's 3x4. So you could trim down a 3x4 picture, but you could put little, wallet size pictures and put them in there so you have room to see the decorative paper too. So I just think it's a fun little project. Or you could even just have it sitting on a table, or you could take it with you, and it's just a cute little gift, especially if you give it away with pictures in it. I think just a fun little gift. So anyway, let's get started on how we make this. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 12 inches long. And never mind the X for right now. So we're going to score this. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So we're going to score this landscape, and you're going to score at 3 1/4. So I have the measurements here. So you're going to score at 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 7, 7 1/2, and 10 3/4. So hold this up. So it's 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 7, 7 1/2, and 10 3/4. Then once you have scored that, you're going to fold. Everything's folded the same way. So I folded all these already just to save time, and then I burnished them. I burnished the folds. And so I turned it this way because this is the way I'm going to be opening my album, but you certainly could do it this way. Oh, you have to excuse me. We have so much smoke in the air from the California fires that I've been having a difficult time the last couple days. Anyway, but I have made the albums to go in a horizontal with the 3x4 cards. I have made them to go with this, open it this way as well. So you can, you know, it's very versatile. And I actually have made them where I've cut these, you can figure it out, but I've cut these 3 1/4 and then did them vertical going the other way. So there's a lot of ways you could do this. So, but for this album, we're going to do this, and then the X is here to show you where I put the magnets. Now, you can see that the paper does not go all the way to the edge. So because of that, you're going to want to make sure the magnets come in far enough that they're not on the edge of where you glue your paper down, or else it won't get a nice smooth adherence onto the cardstock. So you want to make sure your magnets come in far enough. So I've marked an X where I put my magnets at least a 1/2 inch in, okay? And then you have quite a few layers of paper, so you're gonna want to use a good strong magnet for this. And don't do the washi on one side and the magnet on the other, because it just won't hold it. It needs to have the 2 magnets. So anyway, once that's done, oh, and the other thing is make sure that this is straight, that this is completely straight. If this is a little too far, I don't know if I can see, if this is a little too far this way, if the magnet's not going to sit right, or if it's too far this way. So if you're pushing in on these side spines and they're not straight and even, once you go to close that with the magnet, it's going to be a little, it could be a little wonky, like always sitting like this or always sitting like that. So you want to make sure the magnets are straight in there. And then if you're gluing, make sure you let it sit and dry for a minute. And then if you're using the tape, that's fine too. You can just continue on from there. And so then you're going to need a second piece of cardstock. And this one will be 4 1/4 minus 10 1/4, and I say minus a smidge. That is because I want to make sure it's going to set inside this middle part of your little mini album, and you don't want this to go over the score line. See, my score line is right here where my fingers are touching, and I don't want this to go over that score line, or else this is not gonna fold right. And it's so tiny that if it's off a little, it's just really gonna make your book wonky. And in fact, I can even show you on this one. This one, my inner papers are just slightly a little too, I got it a little too large, and it just wants to sit that way instead of straight. It wants to sit that way. And so that's why I didn't give this one away, because it was bugging me. It was so wonky. I'll just keep it for myself. It's cute still, but so anyway, you don't want this inner part. So I cut mine 4 1/4 minus a hairline. Okay, just take just a little bit less than 4 1/4. I mean, just a smidge. And then you don't have to worry about you can cut it 10 1/4, and I'll show you that you can trim that down to size in a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. It just gets worse at night, that smoke. I was perfectly fine before I started this video. Okay, so I think I started this way. So I scored this at So I scored this at 1/2 and at 7 inches. Well, actually that's not true. I scored it at 1/2, and then I did not quite score it at 3 3/4. I measured to 3 3/4, and then I just moved my paper just another hairline and then scored it. And the reason being, I want this slightly less than 3 1/4 when it's folded up. Again, so it'll fit inside those score lines. So then then I measured again to 7 inches from that 3 3/4 line after I scored it. And then again, I just moved it to the right ever just so slightly. I mean, we're talking a hairline. It doesn't need to be much. You don't want this huge gap in between. And then I just scored it again. So, so that's how I did that to make it fit inside my 3¼ inch space. And then if I had a little bit, I cut it at 10¼ so I needed to cut it down just a smidge, so trim that end piece if needed. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So then you're going to fold it and burnish your fold lines, and then you're going to take your tape or your glue and put it on your, see that folds down like this. This is where you're going to put your glue or your tape, and then you're going to tape it down and just make sure it is in between your score lines. And then it's top to bottom, okay? And then you're you want to make sure that this can fold without getting in the way, and that this side will fold without getting in the way. Okay? And then just glue it down. And then don't forget, you need to, before you glue, when you fold this side over, you're going to make this a pocket, so make sure you put your decorative paper here first. And then I just glued on the sides here and then folded it down. And then just decorated it. And one nice thing about the papers is sometimes you can get, on your decorative paper, you can get a little card that's already made to go into the pocket. You don't really have to do anything. But if you do need to cut a mat to put in your pocket, I did 2¾ by 3¾ on the ones I made before, and then I rounded the edges just to give it a little fun. And then the other nice thing too is you can get those decorative border strips and put that on get one that fits on your pocket. I so apologize, everyone. Oh, and with this sneezing and coughing. And so that is pretty much it. Oh yeah, don't forget to decorate your spines if you want. You don't have to, but I just thought it was fun to do that. So it's just a little bit less than 1/2 inch. And then I scored it at 4 inches because the other papers were scored at 3×4. So you're just picking out different 3×4 pieces of paper to put in your album. And that is it. So anyway, I hope all of you that requested this tutorial have fun making these, and if you have any questions, just get a hold of me. Just leave me a message or something. Anyway, take care. Have a good one. Bye.